Chapter 4. Home Again. What can Herr Sesamon do? Heidi can't stay ill. But Clara can't lose her friend. In the end, he finds the answer to this problem. He speaks to the two girls.
"You're very homesick."
He tells Heidi.
"And you need to return home to the mountains. Dr. Klassen says this, and he's right, I think."
"But, Father..."
Clara begins.
"Please, Clara."
Says Herr Sesamon.
"Let's think of Heidi now. What's best for her? But I promise you, daughter, you can visit her in Switzerland very soon."
Then he says to Heidi,
"So, are your bags ready? Because your journey home begins early tomorrow morning."
2 days later, Heidi arrives at the village of Dorfli. Before she goes to her grandfather's hut, she visits Peter's house. She gives nice presents from Clara to Peter's mother and grandmother.
Thank you,
they say.
"Now, please don't go."
I must. But I can come back tomorrow.
Heidi promises. Then she hurries up the mountain. When she reaches her grandfather's hut, she calls,
Grandfather! It's me! Heidi! I'm back!
Grandfather comes out of the hut and looks at her. He is very surprised. Suddenly, he takes her in his arms and he laughs.
Oh, Heidi, is it truly you?
He cries. The next day, Heidi goes and sees grandmother again.
"Well, do you like living in Frankfurt?"
The old woman asks. Heidi tells grandmother all about it. Suddenly, Heidi remembers something and she laughs.
Oh, and I can read now,
She says.
Can I read to you?
"Yes, please,"
Answers grandmother. For the next hour, Heidi reads to her.
"You can read beautifully,"
The old woman says when she finishes. Back at grandfather's hut, grandfather gives a big old book to Heidi and he says,
"Read to me from this."
She opens the book and reads a wonderful story to him.
Once, a young man leaves home and goes to a far town. At first, he has lots of money and many friends there. Then he loses all his money and his friends, and he is alone and sad. In the end, he returns home with nothing. But his father isn't angry. Here's something nice to wear and something good to eat, the old man says, because he feels happy to see his son again.
When Heidi stops reading, Grandfather is very quiet. The next morning, Sunday, he takes Heidi to church. The people there are very surprised when they see him arrive with his granddaughter. After they leave the church, Grandfather goes to the pastor and says,
I'm coming to live in the village this winter. Heidi can go to school more easily from here.
Good,
smiles the pastor. Back in Frankfurt, Clara asks Herr Sesemann every day,
Father, when can we visit Heidi?
He always answers,
Soon, daughter, very soon.
But when he thinks about the long journey, he feels afraid.
Is it a good idea for Clara to go?
He thinks. In the end, he speaks to Dr. Classen about it.
Doctor,
He asks,
can Clara visit her friend Heidi in Switzerland this autumn?
The doctor answers sadly,
No, she can't. The journey is long, and your daughter isn't very strong. You must be very careful with her. I know this story well. Remember last spring? I'm alone now because my young daughter is dead. But I can never forget her.